You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Brandy Williams, bringing the energetic updates from the stars straight to your ears. So let's get into it. We just finished eclipse season with the Libra solar eclipse last week, and that portal is still open. We are still feeling the effects of the eclipse, and many of us will feel it for weeks and even months as we bring our new relationships and ourselves into balance with one another. On October 8th, we will see the grand water trine that I mentioned last week coming into an exact alignment for Venus in Scorpio and Mars in Cancer. Saturn retrograde in Pisces is still in the conversation, making this an A, B, and C conversation amongst the water signs. This energetic triangle is bringing in a lot of energy. We are seeing literal water manifestations taking place, such as hurricanes and floodings, with the aggressive nature of Mars being in the water sign of Cancer. So please say a prayer for those who are affected and who are in the paths of Hurricane Milton out there in Florida and surrounding areas and cities out in Florida and that area of the world, as well as other parts of the world that it is experiencing some really tough weather and flooding right now. We just want to go ahead and put some good energy and some healing and protective energy out in the air for everyone. We may also see some emotional flooding this week, emotional releases, breakdowns, and meltdowns as we navigate through intense emotional healing and processing grief. With the Venus and Scorpio trine to Mars and Cancer, we will see a bond between masculine and feminine energies. Venus and Scorpio can attract people with difficult pasts and traumatic experiences. It could even attract and bring out our own traumatic pasts and experiences. And the planet Mars is the host of that sign, Scorpio. So Mars will be providing a nurturing, therapeutic, and protective embrace for Venus. And Venus will open up to this embrace from Mars and lean into him as her safe space. We can see ourselves opening up and being vulnerable to someone that we trust, someone that is capable of holding space for us. At the same time, we will know when to protect our emotional space and enforce boundaries. And so this is really bringing in a harmonious balance of tending to our own individual needs and being in a relationship with others. Also on October 8th, Mercury in Libra forms a trine to Jupiter and Gemini. And so this could indicate some form of good news. There could be big ideas. We could be seeing information clearly. We could have sharpened clarity on information that leads us to successful business dealings. Jupiter loves to establish cohesion and unity and may do so by bringing in new resources, new people, ideas, and beliefs. We could feel more confident, thus experiencing increased optimism and the ability to see multiple possibilities. Someone could be coming in and bringing in a change of circumstances, or there could be an unexpected turn of events. This is a wonderful transit for business. And so if you have a contract to sign or something to renegotiate or take care of any legal matters, this will be the time to do it because something will be going in your favor. Mercury in Libra will also oppose Chiron retrograde in Aries at 21 degrees. And this transit is providing understanding and bringing clarity, showing us the other side of a story. This could be a turning point that changes our minds about something, or this could present another perspective, option, or decision, leading us right into one of our major events of the week on October 9th, which is today when I'm recording. Jupiter will station retrograde in the sign of Gemini and will be retrograde until February 2025, bringing a shift in our beliefs and a shift in our perspectives. So let's first note that retrograde planets slow us down to reevaluate something in the parts of life where the planet appears to be traveling backwards, giving us time to internalize and process something. Retrogrades can feel like a setback before things begin to progress forward and move along. Because Jupiter is not in his strongest when he's in Gemini, this particular retrograde can feel a little Mercury retrograde-ish, bringing hiccups in tech and communication. And also be mindful of short distance travels and accidents and stuff like that. There will be a call to reset or reshape our beliefs about something. Our attention is being brought to what we are choosing to believe even in the presence of contradicting evidence. So, this is all about our cognitive dissonance. We are being asked to reassess, revise, and realign our beliefs in the part of life where Gemini resides. And everyone has a Gemini part of life, even if you don't have any planets or points there. So we are focusing on what technology we interact with, such as social media, news outlets, websites, who we are interacting with daily, where we go, our day to day environments, and what we think, speak, and learn about. And do these interactions hinder or help us in the long run? So, Jupiter wants us to be open to what we didn't know previously and to be adaptable to taking on new beliefs and perspectives. Pay more attention to changes we may be ignoring or resisting, even when the reality of something is right in our faces. What beliefs are we relying on to keep us rooted in something that we know is not true? The math could not be mathing, yet we choose to stay in it because believing something different would absolutely dismantle the foundation that we've been standing on, especially if it feels like we were on the wrong side of something. This retrograde is nudging us to pay attention to the details of our daily lives, to talk less and to listen more, look at our thoughts and beliefs, and really trace them back to where they originated and ask ourselves, why do I believe these things? Where did I learn that? What's my source? Let's ask ourselves more questions about these beliefs and not be afraid to pivot if they no longer resonate. Don't just stay stuck in something because our family believe that or our fear of what our environment may think if we choose to change our minds about something. Because those outdated beliefs are keeping us stuck and possibly in a state of ignorance about something, some particular belief or ideal. Another thing with this Jupiter retrograde in Gemini to look out for is to be mindful of assuming something without having all of the information, of thinking we know something better than others or more than we actually do. Gather more information before determining something. We are being asked to humble ourselves enough to communicate or acknowledge if we were wrong about something or didn't see it clearly. And this will bring us to that deeper wisdom that Jupiter is always trying to connect us to. Jupiter will also enter a sextile, which is still a productive and harmonious aspect, not as harmonious as a trine, but it will bring us into a sextile with Chiron retrograde in Aries. This will be active from October 1st through October 19th. Jupiter in Gemini and Chiron in Aries will be in this conversation for about 3 weeks. And so we could notice our own negative thought patterns during this time, new paths and insights to healing those thought patterns, and the ability to change or heal any self limiting beliefs. So, this transit is bringing some spiritual growth, wisdom, bigger belief systems, and also to look at what we believe and make sure that we are practicing what we are preaching. And another big event this week on October 11th, Pluto stations direct. It's been retrograde for a while, and it's gonna station direct at about 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And this is really significant because it's the end of an era, the final countdown to what's being broken down and rebuilt in the Capricorn and Aquarius parts of our lives. Such a good idea to bring in your birth chart when you're listening to this podcast, or just kind of like have it in your mind's eye so you can really see like where this energy is taking place for you. Pluto will soon leave Capricorn, never to return in our lifetime, and re enters Aquarius. So, Pluto in Capricorn was definitely existing in a shadow aspect of Capricorn in the lower expressions. Pluto entered Capricorn around 2008. And so it's been there about 16 years because it's getting ready to leave. And so some of those shadows of Capricorn look like getting ahead, a huge appetite and drive for power, wealth, and success at the expense of other people, stepping on other people's heads, climbing up the success ladder, climbing up the chain of command in a ruthless way, rising up to dominate people with ruthless tactics. And so these are the lower expressions of Capricorn. And we've seen a lot of these things happening over the past 16 years. And so the best and highest expressions of Capricorn is doing hard work, doing the hard things that get you where you want to go without stepping on anyone, to have grit and determination to succeed, to really see the best in yourself, but also bring that best out and forward. And when Pluto enters into Aquarius, we will hopefully see our best being brought out and put into motion for the benefit of humanity, because Aquarius is all about the individual expression, but also about the humanity and the collective. And so we will hopefully be seeing all of that being put into motion. Pluto in Aquarius is leading us into a space that allows us to be more of ourselves, to provide a cleaner, efficient, and a more liberated experience for humanity. And so I really hope that during this stint with Pluto, we are birthing something new. We're going to see something new, and we're going to see those old paradigms fall away from when Pluto was a Capricorn. So, in a nutshell, Pluto is a death and rebirth cycle. It is the snake that sheds its skin. We are leaving one level and entering another. And so, some of the significations when Pluto is stationing direct and entering into another sign can be an actual death, a metaphorical death, deeper soul connections with others. There is something very big on the way. And so we want to look at the last degree of our Capricorn house to determine what is coming to an end, what is changing. Notice what's taking place internally and externally. And on October 13th, the sun will be approaching a square with Mars. Also, Mercury will square Pluto, both at 29 degrees. Mercury will be 29 degrees of Libra. Pluto will still be at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And this is delivering powerful revelations, scandals being revealed, emails, hidden material, addressing something that's been hidden. We could see ourselves correcting our perception on something we didn't know that's going to be exposed. It's really going to change our minds about something. We could see moments of empowered speech, diplomatic conversations that requires tact. This can be an exposure of affairs or hidden things that can lead us to question everything. So be mindful of obsessive thinking right now, because there could be some things that transpire that really leads us into overdrive. Like, okay, well, what has everything that I've been thinking not even true? So we want to be mindful of obsessive thinking. We want to be mindful of forcing our points of view onto someone else or any compulsive thinking right now. And this is also a good time to turn our gazes inward and discover some of our own hidden material, our own scandals and revelations. So, a really mixed bag of energy this week. I do hope that you will allow yourself to slow down. I hope I will allow myself to slow down as well and really listen to the voices in our heads, our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Really assess where our inner material can be reprogrammed for our highest good. And if you have found value in this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye for now. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.